On the tranquil beach of Deer Island, Massachusetts, a small unidentified body lay motionless on the sandy shore, referred to as Baby Doe, until her identity could be determined. From here, the journey to uncover the truth behind this harrowing case, one of the most peculiar and heart-wrenching in Boston's history, began. On June 25, 2015, a woman walking along Deer Island's beach stumbled upon a knotted trash bag containing the lifeless body of a young girl. The child, weighing a mere 30 pounds and standing at about 3.5 feet tall, was clad in white leggings adorned with black polka dots. Wrapped in 2 blankets, one of which was zebra print, her body showed signs of decomposition, but it remained relatively intact. As news of the girl spread, media coverage surged, dubbing her Baby Doe due to her unknown identity. The autopsy conducted on July 3rd failed to definitively determine the cause of the girl's death. Her body tested negative for any dangerous compounds like bleach, alcohol, or drugs. Dr. Henry Nields identified bruises on her arms, abdomen, and legs, along with hemorrhaging on her abdomen, lower back, and shoulder blade. The medical examiner proposed that she likely succumbed to either asphyxia, potentially induced by compression of her abdomen, or a heart dysrhythmia triggered by a sharp blow below the heart. Initial estimations suggested she had been deceased for approximately a week. The investigation further found that the girl's body was hidden in a refrigerator for as long as 1 month prior to being disposed of on Deer Island. Even though she had died not too long ago, the decomposition had advanced enough to make identification by sight difficult. Authorities eventually surmised that she appeared to be of white descent with potential Hispanic heritage. The child, aged between 3 and 5 years old, had brown wavy hair approximately 14 inches long. It had been left untrimmed for about 2 years. She had pierced ears but no distinctive birthmarks or scars. She had no signs of malnutrition or maltreatment as noted by investigators. In addition to DNA testing, forensic palynology, and isotope examination of water and pollen samples found at the scene, the testing results indicated that the girl had spent time in the local urban area, most likely in Boston, as traces of pine and soot were found throughout the tests. As indicated by hair and enamel tests, it suggested she may have traveled across the nation. Investigators persisted in their efforts to identify Baby Doe. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children produced a computer-generated image resembling her appearance. This image, along with photos of the leggings and blanket found with her body, was shared on the Massachusetts State Police Facebook page. The post garnered an astonishing 45.4 million views within days, generating unprecedented public interest. Touched by the tragedy, numerous individuals offered to cover the costs of the little girl's funeral and burial if her identity remained unknown. The Coast Guard conducted an analysis of currents in Boston Harbor to trace the potential drift path of the girl's body. However, without knowing how long she had been in the water, they couldn't pinpoint a precise origin. Police checked around 20 missing girls matching Baby Doe's age range, all of whom were found safe. Several missing persons were also excluded as potential identities, leading authorities to consider the possibility that the child may never have been reported missing or that her family was unaware of her fate. With no DNA match in the National Center for Missing Exploited Children's database, efforts intensified to identify Baby Doe. By July 20, 2015, 84 billboards featuring Baby Doe's image adorned 50 locations across Massachusetts. Investigators received hundreds of tips and leads. They were chasing down those leads across Massachusetts, across the country. Until September 17, 2015, Michael Sprinsky came forward to police and said what he knew about this little girl who was killed. That was really the turning point. Michael Sprinsky was acquainted with the victim's mother, Rochelle Bond, and her boyfriend, and he told the police everything he knew about them. Upon receiving this crucial information, the police swiftly mobilized to obtain a search warrant for the residence of Rochelle Bond and her boyfriend, Michael McCarthy, located in Dorchester, Massachusetts. That day, when Rochelle heard a knock at her apartment door and saw the police, she quickly realized the gravity of the situation and fled through a back window. She rendezvoused with Joseph and confessed that Bella was dead. Rochelle sought refuge at Joseph's mother's house in Lynn for the night. The following day, the police located Rochelle, also Michael, and conducted interviews. It was during this interrogation that Rochelle finally disclosed the sequence of events leading up to and following Bella's tragic death. The truth begins to reveal. Bella Nevaeh Bond Amorosa entered the world on June 8, 2012 in Dorchester, Massachusetts, to parents Joseph Amoroso and Rochelle Bond. Her father, Joseph, hails from Florida, bearing a troubled past marked by a string of criminal offenses. Joseph remained largely absent from Bella's life, limited to sporadic phone calls without ever meeting her in person. Rochelle, Bella's mother, grappled with her own demons by drug addiction and involvement in the sex trade. Therefore, she was deprived of custody of her 2 children. Similar to Joseph, Rochelle had been arrested multiple times in the past, no less than 12 incarcerations in state correctional facilities, and also engagements in county corrections programs. The couple's journey began in Dewey Square during Occupy Boston in November 2011, where they set up camp. While the movement aimed for societal change, Joseph and Rochelle's focus was using drugs within the confines of their tent. However, their bond fractured when he discovered Rochelle's infidelity, prompting his departure southward. After that, Rochelle got pregnant. It is noteworthy that Rochelle battled addiction before Joseph's move to Florida, even though she was pregnant with Bella. For the first 11 months of Bella's life, she and her mother resided in Boston, Massachusetts, primarily within a family shelter under mandated supervision. Following a brief stint, Rochelle and Bella secured accommodation at 115 Maxwell Street in Mattapan in October 2013, facilitated by a state-funded rental voucher program. They resided in this apartment for the next 20 months. Neighbors described Rochelle as affectionate and kind to Bella, always cheerful and playful. Rochelle strove to be a good mother to Bella in her own way. Rochelle also refrained from using drugs, marijuana, and prescribed medications. Not long after she encountered Michael McCarthy, their relationship quickly turned romantic. Then he relocated into her apartment. Some sources have mistakenly labeled Michael as Isabella's stepfather, but this is inaccurate. Rochelle and Michael never married. Rochelle admired Michael's intelligence, especially regarding spiritual matters. He said he can sense negative energy around her and used sage to cleanse their apartment of evil presence. After Michael moved in, his childhood friend, Michael Sprinsky, stayed at Rochelle's apartment for 2 weeks. During this time, Bella was still joyful, laughing, playful behavior, and the apartment remained well kept. However, in the spring, Rochelle experienced a relapse, and she and Michael resumed using heroin. When Sprinsky visited, he found the apartment in chaos, with little attention given to Bella. Both Michael and Rochelle asserted to Sprinsky that Bella was possessed. They frequently asked Bella if she was possessed by demons. If Bella disagreed, Rochelle sometimes spanked her. Michael never intervened in this. On occasion, he locked Bella in a closet as a form of punishment for her supposed demons. Those close to Rochelle began noticing changes in her character. Rochelle had previously kept her Facebook page updated with a constant stream of pictures of her and Bella. After Michael entered her life, she went silent on social media. There were no further posts or pictures of Bella, and Rochelle became increasingly withdrawn. Around this time, neighbors usually heard the cries of a young girl coming from Rochelle's apartment through the thin walls. In early June 2015, Rochelle encountered problems in putting Bella to bed one night. After repeatedly tucking her into bed at 11:30 p.m., Bella continued to get out of bed. Upon hearing Bella playing in her room in the dark, Michael said he would put her to sleep and went into her room, leaving the door ajar. Rochelle found Bella lying across the bed, and Michael struck Bella forcefully in the stomach, causing her to lose consciousness. Rochelle attempted to resuscitate Bella, but it didn't work. She picked up Bella in her arms and tried to leave, but Michael threatened Rochelle's life, causing her to lose awareness as well. When Rochelle regained consciousness, she found herself on the living room couch, paralyzed by fear. She recognized that Michael injected heroin into her neck. Rochelle confronted him, demanding to know what he had done to Bella. Michael replied that it was Bella's time to die because she was a demon. Following the injection, Michael ushered Rochelle towards his car. She discovered the chilling truth. Bella's lifeless body was concealed in a green duffel bag alongside weights. Overwhelmed by horror and grief, she screamed out in horror. Michael violently struck her on the head, causing her to lose consciousness once more. When Rochelle regained consciousness, Michael, the duffel bag, and the weights were no longer in the car. She recognized this location as City Point in South Boston. Michael came back, got into the car, and drove away. Rochelle accused him of murdering her child. Michael callously reiterated his twisted justification, dismissing Bella as a demon, and her death was predetermined. Trapped in a nightmare of abuse and manipulation, Rochelle, consumed by grief and drug addiction, chose not to report Bella's death. Michael manipulated her, convinced that no one would believe her and fearing for her own life. In the following weeks, Michael remained in close proximity to Rochelle at all times, even accompanying her during basic tasks like using the bathroom. Their drug use persisted, with them injecting heroin 4 to 7 times a day for several months. According to Rochelle's description, police went to City Point, where there was a wharf providing direct access to the reserve channel. Michael had lived there when he was a teenager, and he and his friends used to gather there to drink. After about 5 minutes of searching in the water, a state police diver found a duffel bag and some weights, about 5 feet from the wharf. One of the weights matched the brand of a set found in Michael's father's plumbing shop in Quincy. On September 18, 2015, police interviewed Michael. Upon learning of Bella's death, he feigned surprise, claiming ignorance of her demise. Additionally, he refuted any involvement in going to South Boston or Boston Harbor when questioned by the police, insisting he had no knowledge of Bella's father or his whereabouts. The first trial of Michael McCarthy and Rochelle Bond took place on August 19, 2015. In this trial, they were charged with offenses related to the death of baby Bella Bond. During their arraignment on September 21, 2015, Michael was held without bail, while Rochelle's bail was set at $1 million. Subsequently, a second warrant was issued for 115 Maxwell Street, where a cadaver dog purportedly detected the scent of human remains in their refrigerator. On January 6, 2016, Rochelle initially pleaded not guilty to charges related to her daughter's death, but she reversed her plea 13 months later, on February 10, 2017. Rochelle admitted guilt as an accessory after the fact in exchange for testifying against Michael. Despite being incarcerated since September 2015, she was credited with time served and placed on 2 years of probation. Rochelle Bond received a suspended sentence with the condition that she must comply with the court's conditions for 2 years. After his daughter's death, Joseph expressed regret for not having searched for her sooner. Bella laid to rest at Winthrop Cemetery in Winthrop, Massachusetts. Her headstone is adorned with delicate engravings depicting a sleeping angel, a playful kitten, and a portrayal of Bella with her hair tied in a ponytail. Beneath these images are the heartfelt words, "Our special angel." Additionally, her name was added to the Sennett family gravestone. Her memory is forever cherished. A poignant memorial dedicated to Bella stands proudly on the shores of Deer Island. At its center lies a copper plaque inscribed with the words, "For reasons we may never know, an angel came to our shores, causing us to shed a collective tear." This touching tribute serves as a lasting reminder of Bella's presence and the impact she had on the hearts of those who knew her story.